Puerto Ricans. We are the future world of Israel. We come out here to teach you the things that you will never learn Sunday morning in church. We come out here to teach you the truth according to the Bible. I can get another Bible because this messing up. We come out here to teach you your heritage, your nationality. Who are you? Because the last time I checked, half of y'all in your cars right now are older than the country that you live in. The Bahamas had got its independence when the late 1900s. So who are you before this? That's a question that you need to ask yourself. A lot of people are going to tell you that you're the descendants of the Egyptians. A lot of people are going to tell you that you're the descendants of Africans. You're not African. You're not Egyptian. Because prophecies tell us that you are the children of Israel. We're going to prove that to you. We're going to prove that to you.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So now what we're about to prove to you is that you are the children of Israel. It was a statement I just made. And so if I made a statement, and I'm telling you to believe that statement, I have to have some type of evidence. I need to have some type of proof. So now we're going to show you that you are the Jews, that you are the sons of Israel, the sons of Jacob, God's chosen people. Read that again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now the Most High through the prophet Moses said that if you did not keep his commandments, if you did not keep the laws and the judgments, that curses were going to come upon you.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
This is how you know that you are a Jew, an Israelite according to bloodline, according to nationality, race. Read.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The Most High will bring the Israelites into Egypt again. Now if you know any Bible history, give me the precept. Exodus 20. If you know any history of the Bible, you will understand and you will know that the nation of Israel as a whole people did not go back and live in the land of Egypt. They did not go back. So now what is the Most High talking about? What is Moses prophesying to the children of Israel? Read what you have.
The book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So now we got a clue. Israel means bondage, slavery, captivity. How do we know? Because they just came out of captivity. Serving over 400 years of captivity in Egypt. Go back now to Deuteronomy 28. So now when the Most High said that he will send you back into Egypt, means that he is going to send you back into slavery. Read that verse again from the top.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So now he says that he's going to send you into slavery this time by ships. Whose history is that? This was a prophecy that happened way back in ancient times. This happened way back in ancient times. This is how you know who the children of Israel are today. Is it the so-called white man that lives in the land of Israel today? He does not fit this curse. And there's many other curses there. This is the first one. He did not make that cut. So he is not the children of Israel. It's impossible for him to be the children of Israel. The so-called white man. They are not the Israelites. They are not the Jews. They parade around to be the Jews, but they are not, because read that again from the top.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
So you will go back, the Jews, the Israelites, will go back into slavery by way of slave ships. Read on.
And thou shalt see it no more again.
Meaning that this type of slavery you will not see that again. This will be the worst. Read on.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies.
After you got off of these slave ships, what would happen?
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies,
Black man, you are the Israelites according to the Bible. You need to understand that.
That's right.
This was prophesied by Moses when they came out of the land of Egypt. They prophesied of this when he came out of Egypt. That's what you got to know. You ain't no damn Egyptian. Get that out your mind. You were a slave in Egypt. When you look at the hieroglyphs, they didn't have white folks as slaves.
That's right.
When you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphs that they have in the museums around the world, black people were their slaves. That was you and I. Our forefathers, we are the children of Israel. The Most High put us into captivity under all empires on this planet because we refuse to keep his commandments. Jump back up to verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
And it will happen to you if you do not listen to the words of God. Read.
to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day,
If you don't follow God's laws, read.
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
And that's what we just read in verse 68 when it said that he would take you back into bondage by way of cargo slave ships. That's what the verse said. So now you got to do a simple process of elimination. You need to do a simple Google search. You need to figure out who was taken into slavery by way of ships and then sold into slavery. Now, if it was the Israelis who live in the land of Israel today, we should be able to Google search when that happened to them. But guess what? It never did. And then they're going to make a good sob story, make a couple of movies about the Holocaust to make you feel real bad, and say, oh my God, that was so bad, it was so sad that this happened to them. But guess what? The Bible doesn't talk about no damn Holocaust.
That's right.
The Bible does not talk about the Israelis or the Israelites going into slavery by train. It don't talk about that. That's why you got to read. Give me Revelation 1 and 3.
Hold Deuteronomy, we're coming back to that.
So that's one reason. That's one way to understand that you are the children of Israel. That's something that you have to understand. And it don't matter if you believe it or not, you are an Israelite. If you don't believe it, you just get put to death when Christ returns, because Christ ain't coming back to play no games with the people. You can read about it in Isaiah chapter 13. You better write that down. Read it to him.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth.
So the Bible says, blessed is he that readeth. Read that again.
Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of his prophecy.
And they that hear the words of this prophecy, meaning you understand it. You understand that by birth, by bloodline, by nationality, by race, you are the children of Israel. We only read one curse for you. There's more. Go back.
Read that verse again and then you go read in verse 68. Yeah.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So you will go back into slavery by way of slave ships. Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. And no man shall buy you.
Meaning no man shall redeem you. The only one that can redeem us is Christ. Read.
Verse 67. In the morning thou shalt say, with God it would be even.
So after you were sold to your slave masters, in the morning you would wish it was dark. You would wish that it was dark. Why? Because you was on the cotton field, tobacco plantation. Your sisters was being raped. Your brothers was being lynched. That's why in the morning you would wish it was evening. Read.
And at even thou shalt say, with God it would be morning.
Because the night was worse. You was scared as hell. So you was wishing that when it was nighttime, you was wishing that it was morning time. So really and truly, you just wish that you was dead. Because anything that happened to the slaves on the plantations, that's not something that you want to relive. That's not something that you want to experience. That's why it says what? Read it from the top.
In the morning thou shalt say, with God it were even. And at even thou shalt say, Would God it were morning, for the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see.
So the things that our forefathers went through during that hard bondage, after they came off those slave ships, the Most High said the fear was too much for them. At nighttime they wished it was morning, and in morning they wished it was nighttime. Read on.
Verse 66, And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
So when you got up in these ships, your life hung in doubt before you. I know y'all saw Roots.
That's right.
What happened when Kunta Kinte was trying to escape? They put the dogs on him. He saw nooses hanging from the trees, the ropes. Read that verse again.
Verse 66, And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night.
So our people was fearing. They was being whipped if they went against the master. They would tear your back right up. You know.
And shall have none assurance of thy life.
You had no assurance of your life. Any second you could get it and be put to death. You didn't know what was going to happen. You were so afraid that you stopped teaching your children. You wanted your children to follow what the white man wanted you to do, otherwise they would get put to death. They would make all of the slaves on the plantation watch as they beat the strongest male.
That's right.
To put the fear of them into your minds. Read verse 68 again.
Verse 68, And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So the Most High would take you back into bondage. They just came out of bondage. They know how hard it can be. You know?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
With ships. The good ship Jesus and all those other ships that came from the west coast of Africa. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
The same way that I'm telling you is the same way it's going to happen. Read.
Now, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen.
So when you got off these ships, you'd be sold as bondmen and bondwomen. Let me see verse 65. You finished with 66, right?
Yep.
Read verse 64.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
So the Most High, by way of these ships, taking you into slavery, you would be scattered among all people. Slavery was big business.
Oh yeah.
Slavery was huge business. Why do you think it happened for so many years? Why do you think slavery was on and on for generations and generations? Because they was getting rich as hell. They were making all the money off of you. You know what it is to own a company and not have to pay the worker? While the workers who came at no price for natural resources, all you have is about 90-95% profit. That's what you got to understand. So you went into all countries had a hand in your slavery. The Africans sold you into slavery. That happened before the transatlantic slave trade. We're going to touch on that too. We're going to teach you this Bible whether you like it or not.
That's right.
Whether you accept it or not. We ain't going to sugarcoat it to you. We're going to teach you that foolishness that you learn on Sunday morning because they ain't teaching you the Bible.
That's right.
And we're going to speak against them. And we're going to speak against you if you come in with false doctrines.
That's right.
We're going to teach you this Bible precept upon precept. We're going to build up our people. We're going to show you what righteousness is. We're going to show you how to repent. We're going to show you how to be a great empire again. Because right now you're just the scum of the earth.
That's right.
And they remind you every day when you watch television, when you listen to music, they remind you of that every day. So we're going to tell you that you're the kings of this earth, the gods of this earth. Like God said, give me Psalms 82 and 6 before you think that we trying to push some funny doctrine. Everything we say, you're going to prove it according to the word of the Most High. Do what you got.
The book of Psalms chapter 82 and verse 6. I have said, ye are gods.
I have said you are what?
I have said, ye are gods.
That's what the Most High said. This is the King James Version, the Holy Bible. You ain't never read that before. Y'all probably tore off all these books. Anything that don't have nothing to do with Matthew to Revelation, y'all probably tore that out of the book. Or y'all probably got one of them little tiny small Bibles that only have Psalms and then Matthew and then the rest. That's because y'all hate this Bible. Y'all have no understanding of it. So what y'all don't understand, y'all throw it out and say, that ain't got nothing to do with what you're talking about. That ain't got nothing to do with salvation. When we come on here to teach you in spirit and in truth, we're going to teach you the way. Go back to Deuteronomy. Read verse 64 again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
You see, first it started off when we fled out of Rome. Let me look. Hold on, give me Luke 21. That's why you got to understand the history. That's why we went to Revelation 1 and 3 that says, blessed is he that greeteth. Our homeland, Jerusalem, we were taken out of there in 70 AD by Titus and Vespasian. Christ prophesied of it. We're going to read that for you right now.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 24. And verse... The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 19. In your patience possess ye your souls. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
So this is Christ prophesying to the disciples. When you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, read.
And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
So this is how you, black man, this is how you got out of Jerusalem. This is how you got into Africa. Because a lot of people like to say, we came from the west coast of Africa. Well, guess what? You don't know how you got there. We're going to teach you.
Read. Verse 21. Then let them which are in Jerusalem flee to the mountains.
So them which are in Judea, you better get the heck up out of Jerusalem. Get out of there. Flee to the mountains. Flee into Africa.
Read. And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
So do not go back to Jerusalem during this time. It's going to be hell there.
Read. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
One of the things that must be fulfilled is what we just read when you went into the transatlantic slave trade. When you went back into slavery by way of slave ships. That's one of the things that had to be fulfilled. You flee from Jerusalem into Africa. When you do the research, we had many, many cities in Africa. Called after our own names. Africans didn't sell Africans into slavery. They sold you into slavery. They knew who to go and get.
That's right.
All you gotta do is read the history. All you gotta do is understand. And guess what? It just so happens that you know people who know this history. That's us.
Right.
So you would be a wise man and a wise woman to listen up. You would be a wise man and a wise woman to come and get a flyer. To email us. To go to our website. To find us on Facebook. To find us on YouTube. You would be a wise man. Because the philosophies out here is garbage. That's what you got to understand. You are the Israelites according to the Bible. Read that verse again.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, unto them that give suck. In those days, for there shall be great distress in the land,
because they starved us out. They barricaded all of our entry ports into our city. They starved us out. They destroyed us. Because you still had some of us that stayed in Jerusalem. So now we understand that in 70 AD, Titus and Vespasian, who are Romans, they made us flee from our homeland. They destroyed it and they took it over. That's how Rome caught our homeland. That's why you had an Idumean, a white dude, who was ruling named Herod. You got to understand this history. So we left Jerusalem in 70 AD and fled into Africa. Now you need to ask me what happened to us in Africa. Because most of you don't know about the Sub-Saharan slave trade. Give me that, Joel. What you're going to understand is the Africans and the Arabs sold you into slavery. That's why I hate to see that our brothers and our sisters follow Islam. Mecca was one of the biggest slave ports in history. So you was raised in Christianity, and then you realize that Christianity is a slave doctrine, and then you listen to some dude named Farrakhan or whoever. They told you, they made you believe that Islam was the religion for the black man, and then you left one slave doctrine for another slave doctrine. That's why we are here, because we're going to correct your understanding.
Joel chapter 3.
We are going to teach you your lost heritage. You are the children of Israel. You are the Jews according to the Bible, not the Israelis. That's a play on words. When you go to the website Etym Online, which means etymology online, and you search in the word Israeli, it's going to tell you that it's to be a distinction between the ancient Israelites, the real Israelites, and the people that live in that land today. It's going to tell you that. That's why you got to do some research. That's why you got to read. Luckily, we are there for you. We're going to teach you what you need to know. Read what you got. Start at verse 1.
The book of Joel chapter 3 and verse 1.
So what are we about to read about? We are going to read about what happened to the black man, the Hispanic man, when they fled Jerusalem in 70 AD. We're going to show you that when you went into Africa from Jerusalem, that you were sold there too.
Read. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations, therefore my people, and for my heritage, Israel.
So the Most High is only going to fight for Israel. You blacks and Hispanics. He's only going to fight for you. That's a prophecy. When you read in Malachi, the Most High does not change. He does not change his mind. He is not going to change his mind. This prophecy has to be fulfilled. He ain't going to say nobody else but you, if you keep the commandments.
Read. Whom they have scattered among
They did what?
whom they have scattered.
We have just read that. You were scattered by way of cargo slave ships. We just read that in Deuteronomy 28 and 68 and 64. That's why you need to take notes.
Read. Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Now we're going to find out how they scattered us and parted the land. Read.
Verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people.
Make it sold to the highest bidder. That's how they cast the lots for us. Read.
And have given a boy for an harlot.
They have given a boy for an harlot because they made the biggest slaves breed with the women so they could get more slaves. More big slaves.
That's right.
So you didn't have to buy slaves. It was their form of investment in those days. Read.
And sold a girl for wine.
Because wine was a high commodity in those days. Cotton, wine, tobacco, musket guns, gold, silver, etc., etc. Read.
That they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
So now when you do your research, you're going to find out that Tyre and Zidon are all ancient coasts, African coasts. So Tyre and Zidon are the Africans, ancient Africans.
And all the coasts of the Palestine.
All the coasts who?
And all the coasts of the Palestine.
And all the coasts of Palestine. You look in Palestine today, they're still the same people. The Arabs. So the Africans and the Arabs, what happened?
Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold.
Because they ransacked our temples and our cities, you blacks and Hispanics. That's what they did to you. The Africans and the Arabs ransacked your cities. Read.
And have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things.
Listen up, this is the point. This is what the Africans and the Arabs did to you. Read.
The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem
You blacks and Hispanics, this is after you fled from Jerusalem. Read.
have ye sold to the Grecians.
Who are the Grecians? The Africans and Arabs, they did what?
Have ye sold to the Grecians.
So now Africans and Arabs sold us to the white man. That's who the Greeks were. If you didn't know nothing, now you know. They sold you to the Caucasians. Whose history is this? That's our history. Stolen from us. That's what you got to understand. You are the Israelites. See, you might be thinking that, oh, give me Exodus chapter 1, I think. What you're going to have to understand is that the prophets of this Bible were all dark-skinned people. We're going to prove that to you. I ain't going to just say something and then make you hang on my words. No, I'm going to take you to the Bible and show you where the prophets themselves said it.
That's right.
This ain't Christianity. But we are the true Christians. You will not find the word Christianity in the Bible at all. You will find Christian though, because they keep the commandments of the Most High God. Yeah, start at 16. Now let's see how the Bible describes Moses in terms of his skin tone. Read.
The book of Exodus chapter 1 and verse 16. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled their troughs to water their father's flock. Verse 17. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them.
So now we're talking about Moses, so you can understand. Read.
And watered their flock. Verse 18.
So Moses helped these women out. Read.
And when they came to Will, their father, he said, how is it that ye are so soon today? Verse 19.
So now he's asking his daughters, how y'all get back home so quick?